Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wassalatu wassalam ala rasulihil kareem. Right in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the recipe for success, muflihun, in which He subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes the grand theme which runs throughout the Quran, both Makki and Madani, that the meaning of the ayah is, who believe in the unseen and establish prayer and spend out of what we have provided for them. The concept which we would like to touch today, inshallah, is that the provisions, first point, that mimma razaqnahum, from what we have provided them. That first point that anybody and everyone needs to understand, that whatever provision, in whatever form they may have, is provided by Allah. Allahu khairur raziqun. Allah is the best of the providers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to spend that in His cause and seeking only Allah's pleasure. And this concept has been taught throughout the Makki and Madani period, to give and to give for the sake of Allah from whatever you have been given. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to protect yourself from fire even by giving a part of a date, shaqqat tamar, even half or even a part of the date. So giving is highly emphasized. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers are successful. And in describing the characteristics, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. And those who about their zakah are doing about it. So they go about in purifying themselves and purifying their wealth, purifying their heart. Zakah literally means to increase. Technically, it means that which purifies. So therefore, the basic tenet of Islam, one of the pillars of Islam, is to give zakah, to obligatory charity. This purifies the earning of the individual, but not only, but it purifies the heart. Because the heart that loves dunya, the heart that loves the mal that was given to the slave, now the slave has to give it to the master, seeking his pleasure. Subhanallah. So when the slave's love for the master, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is more than the love for the wealth, that is when giving for the sake of Allah becomes easy. That is why believing in the hereafter is an integral part for giving zakah. That is why those who give zakah are called as musaddiqeen wal musaddiqat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about them, innal musaddiqeen wal musaddiqat وَأَقْرِضُوا اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا يُضَاعِفْ لَهُمْ وَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ كَرِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Hadid, ayah number 18, verily those who give sadaqat, the zakah and the charity, men and women, the sadaqah given by the men and the sadaqah given by women. And my dear sisters, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized that the women who want to keep away from the fire of hell should give more sadaqah. So that it's a reminder for myself and you to be among those who are musaddiqat, the women who give lot of sadaqah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, they lend Allah a goodly loan. It shall be increased and manifold and given multifold to them as their reward, and theirs will be an honorable reward, meaning paradise. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Truly those who believe and do deeds of righteousness and perform as salah and give zakah, they will have their reward with their Lord. On them shall they have no fear, nor shall they grieve. Subhanallah. This is meaning of it is Jannah. That those who believe in Allah bil ghaib and perform their salah and give their zakah, for them is Jannah. And for those who give zakah, in Surah Al-Bayyinah, Allah mentioned ayah number 5, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ هُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. And they were commanded not, but they should worship Allah alone and worship none but Him alone, and abstain from ascribing partners and perform as salah and give zakah, and that is the right religion. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. And perform as salah and give zakah, and whatever of good deeds you send forth for yourselves before you, you shall find it with Allah. Certainly Allah is the seer of all what you do. And having this faith that the money that you send forth and gave it in the path of Allah is what you have sent forth before yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will find it with Him, and He will reward it for you 1 for 10 or sometimes more than 700, as Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة. In ayah number 261 of Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the likeness of the one who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like the likeness of كمثل حبة أنبتت سبع سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة. It is like the likeness of a grain, and it grows 7 years, and each year has 100 grains. وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. And Allah increases manifold to whom He wills. وَاللَّهُ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And Allah is vast and all-sufficient and all-knower. The one you spend in the path of Allah, Allah can give you 700 in return or even more. So when this concept gets well ingrained in a person's heart and mind, therefore spending whatever Allah has provided becomes easy. That is why the Ansar radiyallahu anhum wa radu an, they had ithar. They spend more even though they needed it in the path of Allah, because they knew their need for that reward in the hereafter is much more than their need of that money in dunya. This is a higher level, and we need to reach it step by step. Subhanallah. To believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the giver, and to work hard in achieving the attitude of giving, and protecting yourself from not giving, because there is a punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Tawbah ayah number 35, يوم يحمى عليها في نار جهنم فتكوى بها حباههم وجنوبهم وظهورهم. On the day of judgment, when the kanz, the money, the gold, the silver, whatever for which the zakah has not been paid, will be heated in the fire of hell, and it will be branded on their foreheads, their flanks, and their backs. And it will be said unto them, هَذَا مَا كَنَزْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. This is what you have treasured or hoarded for yourself. فَذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْنِزُونَ. So taste of what you used to hoard. The money which has not been shared with the poor, just 140. If you have 40, just give 1 after a year. And if you don't, then there is a punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use the same wealth to that will be heated in the fire of hell, subhanallah, and then the person will be branded on their foreheads, on their flanks, on their backs. May Allah protect and save us. We seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for such a disgracing punishment. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Verily your wali, your protector or helper is none other than Allah, His messenger and the believers. And who are the believers? Now the characteristics of the believers are said. Those who perform as salah and give zakah, and those who perform ruku along with those who perform ruku. This is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 55. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises people who have qualities that they do not distract them from the world does not distract them from such having such wonderful qualities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about them, the men, in Surah Nur, ayah number 37, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْءٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Men whom neither trade nor sale of business diverts them from the remembrance of Allah. وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار. They perform salah and neither the performing salah nor giving zakah, so they don't keep away from this. The business does not divert them, distract them from praying, performing salah or praying, giving zakah. They fear a day when the hearts and the eyes will be overturned out of the horror on the day of resurrection. And the many such ayahs encouraging charity. But I would like to end with this ayah of Surah Al-Munafiqun. For those who did not spend, and when they reach their last, they say, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدُكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فيقول ربي لولا أخرتني إلى أجل قريب. And spend in charity of what we have provided you before death comes to one of you. And he says, O Lord, if only you would give me respite for a while. And what he would do? فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Then I would give sadaqah of my wealth and I would be among the righteous. Subhanallah. At that point of time, he wants to give away everything he ever possessed to attain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you and me know our death does not inform us. Death comes to us all of a sudden. Let us live and give while we are living as Muslims. And the proof of it is in giving sadaqah, seeking the face of Allah alone, and we do not seek anybody's thanks or anybody's gratitude, and we give it only for the sake of Allah. May Allah make me and you among those who possess this great quality. May Allah bless our resources, whatever they may be, and give us multifold increase in dunya and in the akhirah. And may Allah not make us of those who withhold, because every day an angel descends and makes dua, O Allah, give the one who gives and withhold from the one who withholds. May Allah make me and you of those who give and not among those who withhold. وآخر الدعوانا عن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.